When a yard feels empty, messy, or unfinished, the natural reaction is to buy more plants. But plants cannot fix a bad bed shape, an awkward layout, or a space with no clear purpose. And the final problem on this list is the reason some homeowners keep replacing plants in the exact same spot year after year. So before you head back to the garden center, start with the problems that new plants cannot solve. 1. The planting beds have the wrong shape. If the bed itself is weak, adding more plants usually just fills a weak shape. You see this most often with narrow foundation strips pressed tightly against the house. There may be enough room for one row of shrubs, but not enough depth to create layers, repeat plants, or relate the landscaping to the scale of the home. Another common version is the bed that has been expanded one plant at a time. A shrub gets added, so the edge bumps outward around it. Then another plant goes in, and another little curve gets added. Eventually, the bed looks like it was traced around the plants instead of designed for the yard. You may also have several isolated planting islands that all look fine individually but never connect into one clear composition. Before adding anything, step back and look only at the bed line. Does it have enough depth? Does it relate to the house, walkway, patio, or lawn? Does it connect areas that should feel connected? And is the shape strong enough to look intentional even before the plants fill in? Sometimes the best improvement is not another plant. It is widening the bed, simplifying the edge, or connecting two disconnected areas. Once the underlying shape is right, the plants finally have a structure they can strengthen. If you're new here, I'm Nick. I studied horticulture and landscape design, and on Garden Guru, I help homeowners make practical yard changes that create a visible difference. 2. There is no clear focal point. When nothing in the yard feels important, homeowners often respond by adding more flowers, more pots, more ornaments, more little features scattered around the space. But adding more places for the eye to look does not create a focal point. It creates competition. A focal point is simply the place where your attention lands first. In the front yard, that may be the entry. In a backyard, it could be a seating area, an ornamental tree, a fire feature, a garden structure, or even a framed view. The problem is not that every yard needs something dramatic. The problem is that without any visual priority, everything begins to feel equally important, and therefore, nothing feels important. Before buying more plants, decide where you want the eye to go. Then, support that area. You might use one stronger plant grouping near the front door. You might place one ornamental tree where it anchors a large bed. You might remove several small decorations and keep one substantial feature. Or you might repeat one flower color so it quietly leads the eye toward the destination. The goal is not to add more attention. It is to concentrate the attention you already have. 3. The existing yard has not been edited. Sometimes the yard does not need another layer. It needs something removed. A shrub may have outgrown the window it was meant to sit beneath. Several small containers may be crowding the porch. A plant may be healthy, but completely wrong for its location. A faded border, unused ornament, or half-finished project may be weakening everything around it. When a yard feels incomplete, buying something new can feel productive. But if the existing space is already visually crowded, that new plant may only make the underlying problem harder to see. Start by asking what no longer belongs. What is blocking the house? What is narrowing a path? What has outgrown its purpose? What is duplicated unnecessarily? And what would improve the yard simply by being cleaned, moved, trimmed, or removed? Editing does not mean stripping the yard bare. It means making enough room for the strongest parts to matter. A healthy plant can still be in the wrong place. A useful object can still be creating clutter. And something you once liked can still be holding the current design back. Before you add, edit. You may discover that the yard already contains most of what it needs. 4. The layout ignores how people move. The first 3 problems affect how the yard looks. This one can make the yard harder to use, and adding plants can make it worse. Every yard has movement through it. People walk from the driveway to the door. They move from the house to the patio. They carry garbage cans through a side yard. They push lawn equipment through gates. Children run between play areas. Guests gather around seating. When those routes are not considered, plants and features begin landing in the wrong places. A shrub narrows a walkway. A bed cuts across the natural route to the gate. A patio feels disconnected from the house. A seating area becomes a pathway instead of a destination. Or the only route through the backyard cuts directly between the chairs. Plants cannot correct awkward circulation. In fact, they often make it more obvious over time as they mature. Before planting, watch how people naturally move through the space. Do they follow the walkway or cut across the lawn? Is there enough room to pass comfortably? Can you reach the areas that need regular maintenance? Does the path lead somewhere useful? And are people being guided around the seating area or straight through it? The best layout often begins with movement. Once the routes work, the planting can define them, soften them, and make them feel intentional. But the plants should support circulation, not fight it. 5. The landscaping is the wrong scale for the house. A yard can contain plenty of plants and still feel underwhelming because the landscaping is too small for the structure behind it. Tiny shrubs disappear against a wide facade. A narrow bed looks weak beneath a tall wall. Small pots vanish beside large porch columns. And a collection of low plants may leave the house looking as though it is floating above the landscape. The opposite can happen too. Oversized shrubs may cover windows, swallow the walkway, or make a smaller home feel crowded. This is not only a plant selection problem, it is a scale problem. Adding more small plants does not necessarily create more visual strength. Sometimes the bed needs to be deeper. Sometimes several small shrubs should become one stronger repeated group. Sometimes the design needs a taller element to connect the ground plane to the height of the house. And sometimes one properly scaled container does more work than 6 tiny ones. Look at the landscaping from across the street or from the far edge of the yard. Does it have enough mass to relate to the home? Are the tallest elements helping connect the planting to the structure? Do the beds have enough depth to hold layers? And are the plants likely to remain in proportion as they mature? Good scale makes the yard and house feel connected. Without it, buying more plants can become an expensive attempt to fill a problem that quantity alone will not solve. 6. The space has no clear job. There are 2 problems left, and these are usually the ones that waste the most time and money. One determines whether the area will ever feel finished. The other determines whether the plants can survive there at all. A side yard, backyard corner, open lawn, or unused bed often feels empty because nobody has decided what it is supposed to do. So plants get added one at a time. A chair appears in one corner. A fire pit gets placed wherever there is room. A vegetable bed goes near the fence. A screen is added for privacy. Each choice may make sense by itself, but together they do not create a useful space. Before choosing plants, decide the job. Is this area supposed to provide privacy? Is it a place to sit? A route through the yard? A view from inside the house? A play area? A vegetable garden? A quiet visual buffer? Or simply open space that gives the rest of the yard room to breathe? Once the purpose is clear, many other decisions become easier. A seating area needs a comfortable destination, shade at the right time, and enough enclosure to feel inviting. A vegetable garden needs sun, water, and regular access. A privacy area needs to block the actual sightline, not simply fill a property edge with plants. A side yard may need durable circulation more than decorative planting. A yard without a clear purpose often accumulates features. A yard with a clear purpose can be simpler because every element has a reason to be there. If you feel overwhelmed by your own yard and are not sure what to fix first, the Fix My Yard workbook is designed to help you work through these decisions in order. It helps you identify the biggest problems, set priorities, and create a realistic plan before spending more money. You'll find the link below. 7. The growing conditions are working against you. This is the problem that can make every new plant purchase fail. A plant cannot overcome a site that fundamentally does not support it. You may have compacted soil that stays waterlogged all winter and turns hard in summer. You may have deep shade beneath mature trees along with heavy root competition. A bed beside a driveway or south-facing wall may receive intense reflected heat. A low area may collect water after every storm. An irrigation pattern may keep one section wet while another stays dry. Or the available space may simply be too small for the plant's mature size. When the same location keeps losing plants, the answer is usually not to keep trying different plants at random. First, identify the actual condition. Watch the sunlight at different times of day. Check how long the soil remains wet after rain. Look for compacted areas, tree roots, heat reflected from hard surfaces, and places irrigation does not reach. Then, make one of two decisions. Correct the condition where that is practical, or choose plants that genuinely fit it. You may be able to improve drainage, loosen compacted soil, redirect runoff, or adjust irrigation. But some conditions are better respected than fought. Deep, dry shade will never behave like a sunny, perennial border. A hot, narrow bed beside pavement may need a completely different plant palette than the bed across the yard. And a space beneath a large tree may need ground covers, mulch, or a simpler treatment instead of repeated attempts to force shrubs into heavy root competition. The cost of the plant is only part of the expense. There's also the time spent planting it, watering it, worrying about it, replacing it, and repeating the process. The most budget-friendly plant is often the one that fits the site well enough to stay there. Before buying another plant, ask, is the bed shape strong enough? Does the yard have a clear focal point? Does something need to be edited before anything is added? Do the paths and movement patterns work? Is the landscaping in scale with the house? Does the space have a clear job? And do the growing conditions actually support the plant you are considering? You do not need to solve every problem at once, but you should know which problem you are trying to solve before you spend money on the solution. And if you enjoy seeing these ideas applied to a real property, Garden Guru members can submit their own yards for a chance to be selected for a Yard Lab redesign video. In Yard Lab, I work through the homeowner's goals, layout, budget, and site constraints to show what I would prioritize and how the space could become more intentional. Membership is easy to join with the button below. More plants can make a good design fuller, but they cannot create the design for you. Fix the shape, clarify the focal point, edit what is already there, improve the way the yard functions, decide what each space needs to do, and understand the conditions before choosing what should grow there. Then, when you do buy plants, they are much more likely to solve the right problem and stay part of the yard for years. Well, there you have it. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep getting your hands dirty. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to Garden Guru, and I'll see you in the next one.